Way to go, Tic Tac!
That's how you punch.
Wakanda forever!
You wouldn't have heard of me.
Let me put you on hold.
Dance off, bro! He's a friend from work!
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
What up, guys? It's Dom, and welcome back to another movie review. Today we are going over and ranking Sinners. Sinners, released in 2025, written and directed by Ryan Coogler. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. So I've been seeing trailers for this movie for so long now, and it got me very excited for the movie. The trailer was really good, and I was just really hoping not to get disappointed by the movie. That has been happening a lot lately, where the trailer's really good and it builds up some good momentum, and then by the time the movie comes out and I watch it, it's just not what I expected. But that did not happen with this movie. This movie was fantastic. It definitely blew my expectations out of the water. If I can watch it again right now, I would. That's how good it is. So without further ado, let's just get right into the 10 essential aspects of a movie. The first essential aspect is plot. So I love this plot. I think it's extremely well written. It's definitely well thought out. The only problem that I have with it, and it's really just me nitpicking, is the way that they integrated the evil that is coming after these guys. I feel like the explanation that they gave at the beginning wasn't, I guess, explanatory enough. It didn't really explain in the way that made sense to at least me, the general audience. I feel like they explained it. I don't want to spoil, so I'm going to be very vague, but the evil that they were running from, the evil that was coming after them, was not the evil that I expected based off of the explanation. The way that they explained it, it should have been something completely different, and it would have made sense for that. It made slightly less sense for this. It still made sense to a point where you can enjoy the movie and still understand everything that's going on, which is why it's really only me nitpicking, but I just wish that opening scene of where they explain it could get cleaned up a little bit and make a little more sense. Other than that, I think it's amazing, and I would really want to rewatch it again, but I just had to nitpick a little bit, at least to give it something, because the rest is pretty 10 out of 10. The second essential aspect is attraction. I think this movie is attractive in honestly every level. It has a big musical aspect to it. And if you've been watching this channel, you know that I'm not a big musical guy. I don't think music belongs to that extent in movies unless there's a meaning behind it and it makes sense. But in this movie, if the music wasn't in it, it would have been much worse. I think that the music was a massive part of it, and it made it more entertaining. The whole point is that the kid is really good at playing guitar. They're opening up a juke club. The whole point is music. And the one thing that separates this from, for example, Joker Folie à Deux, is that they didn't overdo it. The music was playing at specific times that made sense for the story, that made the movie more engaging. It made it more rhythmic. It made it more entertaining. While I feel like in Joker Folie à Deux, it's just overused. There was musical notes coming out of nowhere. It just didn't need to happen. They started singing for no reason. And I mean, I guess there always was a reason when they were singing. I just feel like it was definitely too much. It made it more of a musical, less of a movie. While here, it was a movie that had musical elements, which I think was way better and definitely much more attractive. Plus, the plot was very interesting, and it was a very serious toned movie, but they somehow found a way to integrate some comedy in there and actually make it funny. And because, again, they didn't overuse the comedy, it didn't become that cringy level. It was honestly the perfect level, because it kind of separated you from just constantly being on edge and suspenseful and everything, and it just made the movie overall more enjoyable for everyone. So I think they did a bang-up job with the attractiveness. The third essential aspect is theme. I think the overall theme of this movie has to be choices. I think everyone has choices to make, whether it's choosing to start playing an instrument or not to, whether it's choosing to stay at home or move away, whether it's choosing to save this person or this person. I think overall, choices are a big part of everyone's lives, and that's what this movie really wanted to show. There's many themes in this movie. You could pick any handful of ones. That's just the one that resonated with me the most. There's so many characters in this movie that had to make tough choices. And me, myself, I've made plenty of tough choices, and they're always hard. And I think this movie showed how hard it really is. It kept putting that suspense to show the audience that we know that you've gone through tough choices, and I bet this is exactly how you felt making those. And that's exactly what it showed. I mean, there was some scenes, I'm not going to explain obviously because I don't want to spoil, but there was some scenes that made me I felt it in my chest. I felt that pain that character was feeling because it was such a strong message. So that hands down is the one that resonated with me, but you let me know if you've watched this what you think the theme was. The fourth essential aspect is dialogue. Another thing this movie did really, really well, the dialogue. I mean, from sounding like they're from Mississippi, which is where the movie takes place, sounding like they're from 1930, which is again what time the movie takes place. So I think overall it sounds like they are where they are. And also just the conversations had between the characters is outstanding. I mean, it felt like real people having real conversations, especially since it's R-rated. It can sound more real because in real life, I mean, there's not really a barrier between conversations had like some PG-13 movies. You're trying not to swear, but I know you want to. While in here, they just let it rip because I mean it's rated R, so it made it sound more real. So that's a really good thing. And I need to give a special shout out to Michael B. Jordan. I'm going to talk about him a lot in acting, but him playing two different characters talking to each other, and it sounds like two different people. Like if you didn't see the faces, you would think two different people are talking. Yeah, they're twins. They sound similar, but the way the inflection of their voice is just incredible. So he is definitely the man of the show. He knew how to make this movie what it is and make it as good as it is just from his presence. His dialogue and acting alone made this movie really good. So had to talk about him here in dialogue, but we will also talk about him in acting. The fifth essential aspect is acting. So there was not a single bit of bad acting in this movie. I feel like everyone did a really good job, but I do have a few people that I want to talk about in particular that made the movie what it is. Of course, I talked about him a little bit in dialogue, but I'll talk about him again. Michael B. Jordan did fantastic. I mean, he played two different characters really convincingly. Honestly, if I showed this to someone else and told them that that Michael B. Jordan had a twin and they were playing two different characters, he would believe him. He would believe him because he somehow had conversations with himself playing two characters with completely two different personalities. I mean, Smoke, he was more serious, he was more angry, he had more of that kind of emotion to him, while Stack, more comedic, he was more lenient. He was serious when he needed to be, but he was overall just a complete 360 from Smoke. So being able to be two different characters that far apart from each other and have conversations with himself technically on screen and be convincing with it is some crazy good talent. So without him, the movie would not be nearly as good. Also, Miles Catton, who played Sammy, he was another one of the main characters. I think he did a fantastic job. He was very convincing in his role, and his voice is incredible. I feel like the singing scenes were carried by him by far. I don't know if he's a musician or a singer in real life, but if he's not, missed potential. He definitely should be as well because it is incredible. Also, Haley Steinfeld, who played Mary, she was kind of a side character, kind of a main character. She was definitely a big deal in this movie, especially towards the end. So it was her being that talented in that role and knowing how to portray this character really, really well, obviously was a big part. Because without her, the movie would be in a completely different direction. I honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, she probably is a main character because she was such a big part of the end. But yeah, no, she did fantastic. It felt really real, especially her chemistry with Michael B. Jordan was really shown in this movie. It was fantastic. And then I have some honorable mentions I want to bring up that are side characters, but honestly, without them, this movie would be not as good. The comedic, I guess acting, but the comedic influence they brought to this movie is really what sold me. We have Delroy Lindo, who played Slim. And I mean, he knew every time the movie was getting like slightly too serious, he just cracked a joke. And I mean, me along with the entire audience laughed. I mean, it was funny. He knew how to really calm the nerves of the audience and get them ready for this next scene, compared to if he wasn't there, then it would just be more serious, more serious, more serious, maybe a little joke, more serious, and it's just, it would be way too serious. I think him breaking it up like this definitely added an amazing element to the movie and made it even better. And the same thing goes for Owen Benson Miller, who played Cornbread. He is just a funny dude, and there's some scenes where he's not even talking, he's not really acting, he's just sitting in the background, and when you notice him, you just can't help to smile. I mean, he is just a funny big dude, and honestly, him and Slim are like the perfect duo to have in the background just to lighten the day. But yeah, everyone did amazing acting. These few just did really fantastic, and the movie would not be the same without them. The sixth essential aspect is cinematography. I think this movie did well in both. Again, surprise, surprise, this movie is good. I think visually they did a really good job of, one, making sure that the CGI is good enough to really represent Michael B. Jordan being on screen twice. I think it was done really, really well and convincingly. I honestly could not tell half the time that it wasn't just the same actor twice. And obviously like all the actual like fire and all the other visuals did look convincing as well. I think it all looked really good. But when it came to the emotion side, I mean, they did excellent. I mean, I felt what all these characters are feeling. I felt like I was there feeling the same pain and the same fear that these guys were feeling, just because they did such a good job, especially the acting did such a good job of convincing me that they are their character. It made it feel more real. So they did a really good job in general with the writing for this movie to get it to that point cinematically where I'm feeling the same emotions as the characters are. The seventh essential aspect is editing. So this movie was 2 hours and 17 minutes long, and I think that is a perfect length. I think a little over the 2 hour mark is exactly what this movie needed to get to the length where they have enough time to go through all of these different topics, to go through the whole plot, rotate around, because it was kind of a start in one place, end in the same place, just a full circle type thing, which I love. I love that style of movie making. I think connecting it full circle just pieces the plot together so well. And they did that in this, and they did it really, really well. So I'm happy that it's over that 2 hour mark. I feel like any shorter, it would have been too short. We would have missed out on a lot of key parts of this movie. But another thing I do want to mention in editing is if you are watching this movie and you think it's done, just wait for a second, and there will be one more scene at the end that makes this movie so much better. Because it was a great movie, and then I waited, the lights didn't turn back on yet, so I was like, there's a little bit more. Then the scene plays out, and afterwards, I was so happy I stayed. It made the movie so much better. It made everything so much clearer. It added another level that you weren't even thinking about in this movie. And without that scene, I would not have ranked it where it is now. Because it had that clarity, it did a level up of what I thought it was doing. So the editing there is really, really well done. The eighth essential aspect is soundtrack. So obviously, like I mentioned before, there is a musical aspect to this movie, and this soundtrack is really, really, really good. They did a fantastic job of having songs in general that are not only in the background, but actually in the forefront of being sang to the audience, where it's not too much of it, it's not too little of it, it's, well, what am I, Goldilocks and the Three Bears? It's just right. It had enough where you weren't really obviously overwhelmed with how much music and you're just like waiting till the song's over. No, you were feeling it, you were liking the music, and when it was in the background, it still fit the vibe of the time. It fit like it was 1930, and you can kind of still picture yourself in this time, put yourself in their shoes, and feel like you are also in Mississippi 1930. I think it was 31. But in general, the soundtrack definitely helped with that. And it is a memorable soundtrack. I can still remember the songs playing in my head like I am watching it now. So again, soundtrack, another thing they did really, really well. The ninth essential aspect is directing. So I feel like it's the director's job to take these previous 8 essential aspects, put them together to make a movie that's worth watching. And the director of this movie is Ryan Coogler, and he's previously directed 4 movies. And they were Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther, and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I came to realize why this movie is so good, and it is because the chemistry between Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan is incredible. I mean, he was both in Creed and Black Panther. I'm not sure about Fruitvale Station. I don't know about it. I did watch Wakanda Forever, and I don't remember him in it. But I know that at least with those 2 movies, which were very good movies, they had that previous representation. So I'm assuming that's why this movie was so good, and why Michael B. Jordan was so good in it was because he was working with a director that he trusts, that he knows can do well with him, which means he definitely was the right man for the job. I mean, I can't really hate on anyone's history when the movie that they just made is so good, because there's always improvement to be made, and he definitely made improvements nonetheless, because I do think this is the best movie out of all the ones he's done. So applause for you, Ryan. And the 10th essential aspect is time. 100% this will stand the test of time. I really don't see a world where it won't. It is one of those movies that you will remember for a very, very long time because it really does well in everything. I can't really think of a single thing besides that little plot issue that is bad about the movie. Everything else they do really good. It's also really hard to find a movie where the soundtrack is memorable because a lot of the movies I've done so far, they're great movies. The soundtrack is the one thing that I nitpick all the time because it's so hard to find a movie where the soundtrack is either not enough or too much. While this, it's literally just right, like I said in soundtrack. So I think it will stand the test of time simply for that fact, not even to mention the amazing acting that definitely carried this movie. Now, onto the ratings. So, Rotten Tomatoes critics gave it a 98%, Rotten Tomatoes audience gave it a 97%, and IMDb gave it an 81%. Now, somehow, I am agreeing more with Rotten Tomatoes than IMDb here. I think 81 is too low. I think it definitely deserves to be in the 90s. Now, I don't know if it does belong in that high, like 98, 97 range. I was thinking more 94, 95. And I'm really just doing that because I'm taking that 5% for that opening scene where it was kind of hard to understand where they were coming from with the evil, or at least misleading. Because other than that, I mean, I can't find a single thing. There's not a single thing I can even nitpick out of the movie that was bad about it. So I had to put it at that 98 or 95. And finally, the rankings. So in 2025, it's going to be first above Captain America: Brave New World. Now, this isn't even close to me. Brave New World has a lot of problems. Well, Sinners only has the one little one that I found. And I honestly didn't even prepare of what I'm going to say because it's so obvious. So I'm just going to continue on now. In the 2020s, it's going to be third above Smile 2 and below The Wild Robot. Now, this is where it is a lot closer. It's above Smile 2 simply because this movie is a lot more rewatchable. Both have really good plot points. Both have amazing acting. Both have really good cinematography. I just know that I would watch Sinners 1,000 times and not get bored, while if I watch Smile 2 a few more times, it won't be as scary. It won't give me the same kind of adrenaline rush that I was getting from Sinners. And it's below The Wild Robot because Wild Robot had no problems. Even the little problem I found in Sinners, I could not find one similar in The Wild Robot. And that cinematography that it has is beyond anything that Sinners could imagine. The cinematography is on a whole different plane of existence than Sinners has, and that was enough to bump it over with ease. Like that wasn't even hard for me. And in all time, it's going to be 9th, above The Breakfast Club and below Inside Out. Now, this is where it was the closest. Now, it is clearly above Breakfast Club. I just feel like the movie is a lot more entertaining. It's a lot more for me. It resonates more with me, and it's a lot more entertaining overall. And The Breakfast Club has an amazing theme. It's an interesting movie, but it is more, I guess it has some comedic aspect, but for me it is more serious. It's more about the tone of the movie. It's more about the theme and the message it's bringing to the audience, less so about being a movie that's really worth watching 1,000 times. While Sinners, I mean, I've talked about it so highly already because it is such a good movie. I really enjoyed myself. I couldn't find much things wrong with it, and that is why it's above it. And the only reason I have it below Inside Out is because of that plot point. I feel like they're basically on par. Inside Out is such a creative idea when it first came out. There was nothing like it, and it was really well animated. The cinematography was really good. Overall, the voice acting was really good, and the movie was really good. I keep saying really good, like I'm stuttering almost. But Inside Out and Sinners is very, very close for me, and the only thing that made me put it below it was that plot issue, or not really issue, but the little nitpicking I did at the beginning. And that was just enough to put it right below it. Honestly, it could change. I change my list around a lot depending on how I feel. Sometimes I rewatch a movie, realize I ranked it incorrectly. Sometimes I spend more time thinking about the movie and realize I should have moved this here. So who knows? In a month, Sinners might be above Inside Out. I don't know. We'll see what future Dom does. But this is where I think it deserves to be. That's all I have for Sinners. If you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to comment what movie you want me to review next. If you guys want to see someone that does something very similar, just kind of a different point of view, check out my best friend, Mr. Majoritarian. He does the same thing as me. He was the one that got me into movie reviewing in the first place, He does do something differently. He does 2 different lists, one for entertainment and one for cinematography. So if that's something that's more appealing to you, definitely go check him out. His link will always be in my description. And I hope you guys have an amazing night. Peace out.